So, good day, everyone, and I'm really nice to see you all here at our presentation. So, today our presentation will be about analyzing historical context, and it's made by the Group 3. The members include Sabir Nuruddinov, Nurmurat Saipulayev, Sarjar Khan Sulaimanov, and Shahzad Bekir And today we'll be speaking about the top 5 most visited. So to warm up, let's begin by the story. So to say, I always loved museums. So when I was in England last year, I took a great deal of visiting the museums. And to say, I was fascinated by all of them, by the artifacts and the history. And I had a great time there. So why I'm telling you that, the reason is many people do not know or unaware of many great museums they are worth visiting. So here we are to talk about them. The project is financed by the British Museum, and as I said before, we'll be covering the top 5 most visited museums in the world. So let's begin. The first museum in our list is, of course, Louvre. It is the world's largest museum and houses one of the most impressive art collections in history. The magnificent Baroque-style place and museum, Le Musée du Louvre, sits alongside the banks of Louvre, the banks of Seine River in Paris, and is one of the biggest attractions in all of the world. With the attendance of 9,600,000 visitors annually. And of course, there are a lot of interesting facts about the museum. And it's also interesting to note that initially the museum was built as a fortress in 12th century. And as the time marched on, it was reconstructed, rebuilt again, and so ended up being a museum in 18th century by the King Louis the 16th. And another interesting thing is the word Louvre, from Latin Saxonian, translates as a castle. So the next will be continued by Nurmurat Saipulayev.
Okay, the next museum which we are going to speak is the National Museum of China. Was founded in 2003. The museum's mission is to educate about the arts and history of China. It's directed by the Ministry of Culture of the People's Republic of China, and it's one of the largest museums in the world. Has some artifacts which are more than 1.7 million years old. Also, it has more than 1 million items, and it was visited by approximately 7.4 million visitors. So it's the second most visited museum in the world in 2019. So the next museum is the Vatican Museum, is the public art and sculpture museum in the Vatican City. Was founded in 1504. So it's one of the oldest museum in the world. The museum has 54 galleries and almost 70,000 works on them. Also, it's currently employ 640 people who works in 40 different administrative, scholarly, and restoration departments. It was visited by almost 6.9 million persons, which combined made it the third most visited art museum in the world. The next museum is the Metropolitan Museum of Art of New York City. Was established in 1870. The permanent collection consists of works of art from classical antiquity and ancient Egypt, paintings and sculptures from nearly all the European masters, and an extensive collection of American and modern art. Also, the Met has African, Asian, Oceanian, Byzantine, and Islamic art. In 2019, more than 6.75 million people visited it. Okay, now let's turn to our the most important one, which we are going to speak about. It's the British Museum. The museum was founded in 1753 and located in London. Its collection size is approximately 8 million objects, which most of them were collected during the British Empire. It contains artifacts about the history of all continents, including the history of Old, Middle, and New World. It was visited by more than 6.2 million people, so it's the world's fifth most visited museum in 2019. So the next part of the presentation will be continued by my group mate Sober Nurdinov.
Now I will tell you more about this museum. The first item on our list is an ancient Greek amphora made in Athens, Greece. It was found at Volcae, now it's Lazio, Italy, that shows Achilles killing the Amazon queen Penthesilea. On the other side, on the other side of the waist, Dionysius, god of wine, is shown with his son Oenopion. The waist is signed just behind Achilles' right arm by Exekias S. Potter. The painting has also been attributed to him. Next item on our list is coffin of Hornidichtef. Base and lid of an anthropoid wooden inner coffin of Hornidichtef, son of Nectoheb, who held a large number of priestly offices. Polychrome painted and gilded face, wig, collar and pectoral. Winged scarab across breast, body inscribed with vertical registers of painted hieroglyphs flanked by deities. The rest of the surface is unelaborated, and interior of the base is also decorated. Next item is the Rosetta Stone. It was the key of reading the Egypt hieroglyphs in 1822. It's part of a gray and pink granodiorite stela bearing priestly decree concerning Ptolemy V in 3 blocks of text: hieroglyphic 14 lines, Demotic 32 lines, and the Greek 54 lines. Next item on our list is the Lycurgus cup. Drinking cup made of glass, it's green and red and covered with various scenes representing the deaths of King Lycurgus. Rim mounted with silver gilt band and leaf of ornament, plus silver gilt foot with open work wine leaves. Goddess Tara. Goddess is a standing figure of a female deity, Tara, solid cast in bronze and gilded. The figure has a high tubular coiffure, Jatamukuta held in place by a medallion flanked by makaras, water creatures. The medallion was probably set with stones, as were the eyes. The earlobes are elongated and the lower body dressed in a tight-fitting cloth, knotted at the hips. The upper body is uncovered. The proper right hand is in Varada Mudra, gesture of giving. The left hand is in Kataka Hasta Mudra, the hand pose wherein the tips of the fingers are applied to the thumb, so as to form a ring, as if to hold a flower. The two middle fingers of the right hand are missing, as are toes from both feet. Last but not least, the breast head of Uni King. It was found in January 1938 by workmen who were clearing away topsoil for house foundations, and they struck metal and found a group of sculptures in the form of human heads cast in metal. This magnificent brass head was one of those discovered in Wunmonya compound. The identification and function of the head and the others discovered at the site remain uncertain. It clearly portrays a person of status and authority, possibly a king uni of El If. The elaborate beaded headdress with feathered fringe was originally painted in red and black. Traces of the pigment remain today. And now the presentation will be continued by Shehzadbek Tursunov.
Another one of the most outstanding artifacts in the British Museum is gold griffin-headed armlet that you can see on the left side of the screen. It is part of the Oxus treasure, the most important collection of gold and silver to have survived from the Achaemenid period. There is a companion piece in the Victoria and Albert Museum. The bracelets are similar to objects being brought as tribute on reliefs at the Persian center of Persepolis. The Greek writer Xenophon tells us that armlets were among the items considered as gifts of honor at the Persian court. The hollow spaces would have contained inlays of glass or semi-precious stones. The bracelets are typical of Achaemenid Persian court of style of the 5th to 4th century BC. The companion piece, now in Victoria and Albert Museum, was bought by Captain F.C. Burton when he rescued a group of merchants who had been captured by bandits on the road from Kabul to Peshawar. They were carrying with them the Oxus treasure, which Burton helped them to recover, and so they allowed him to buy this bracelet before going on to sell the remainder of the pieces in Rawalpindi. It was from the bazaars of India that other pieces of treasure emerged, reaching the British Museum by a circuitous route. So the next item in our list is Lewis Chessmen, the chess figures of Scottish kings. It was named after the island or the bay where they were found, and they are a group of distinctive 12th century chess pieces, along with other game pieces, most of which are carved from walrus ivory. Discovered in 1831 on Lewis the Outer Hebrides of Scotland, they may constitute some of the few complete surviving medieval chess sets, although it is not clear if a set as originally made can be assembled from the pieces. When found, the hoard contained 93 artifacts, 78 chess pieces, 14 tablemen, and one belt buckle. Today, 82 pieces are owned and usually exhibited by the British Museum in London, and the remaining 11 are at the National Museum of Scotland. Almost all of the pieces in the collection are carved from walrus ivory, with a few made instead from the whale teeth. The 79 chess pieces consist of 8 kings, 8 queens, 16 bishops, 15 knights, 13 rooks, and 19 pawns. The height of the pawns range from 3.5 to 5.8 centimeters, while the other pieces are between 7 and 10.2 centimeters. Although there are 19 pawns, they have the greatest range of sizes of all the pieces, which has suggested that the 79 chess pieces might belong to at least 5 sets. All the pieces are sculptures of human figures, with the exception of the pawns, which are smaller geometric shapes. The knights are mounted on rather diminutive horses and are shown holding spears and shields. The rooks are standing soldiers or warders holding shields and swords. 4 of the rooks are shown as wild-eyed berserkers, biting their shields with battle fury. Some of the pieces bore traces of red stain when found, possibly indicating that red and white were used to distinguish the two sides rather than the black and white used in modern chess. So if you want to know more about the artifacts in the British Museum, you can visit www.britishmuseum.org. So thank you for attention.